Welcome to Take 5. I'm Tanner Reisner. With me is Nick Grohl and Corey Williams, and we're probably the last guys you ever want to hear talk about movies. Just run down the list of the fall movies that are coming out. Our next film is The Counselor, and we're going to talk about Brad Pitt and Michael Fassbender.
Directed by Ridley Scott. This is probably one of the first movies he's done in a while that hasn't been sci-fi.
It's kind of weird, actually. I didn't know that he was doing that.
Piece. Yeah, it's interesting. But, it's got Brad Pitt, Fassbender. It also has Javier Bardem, Cameron Diaz, and Penelope Cruz. And it involves a lawyer who gets involved in some way with a drug cartel, I believe. And it's based off of a book written by the same people that wrote, or the same author that wrote No Country for Old Men. It's one of those movies, it's one of those trailers that kind of left you hanging, didn't really tell you a whole lot, and so it did a great job of piquing my interest, and so we'll see more as it gets closer.
When I saw the trailer, I was just excited because I will watch anything that Brad Pitt does, so I'm excited about it. Our next film is Metallica, and the name of it is exactly...
Through the Never.
Yeah. Metallica Through the Never.
I'm pretty excited about it. I like Metallica, the band. I'm a huge fan. I've seen them in concert a few times. I'm just intrigued by all means by, I think it's a pretty interesting idea that they're shooting this. They've made this huge concert. I mean, it's literally every band in the world's released, a concert on DVD. Sometimes they go to theaters and this huge IMAX type spectacle, but on the other end they have a narrative of this concert that's set to the music that the band's playing live, about a roadie who's being sent on an errand, and then he ends up in almost this deserted city.
Chaos.
Yeah, and it's the adventures of the roadie trying to just go almost on this quest for the band, during this concert.
Which I think is cool, because, it's like you said, we've seen concert after concert, footage, video, DVD, but the fact that they're putting this twist on, that you've had Pink Floyd, The Wall, and things of that nature, but this is something, it's the first, modern concert that we've seen that's been given this twist, where it's not documentary style, it's not just film it, here it is, watch it.
It's not Kiss and the Phantom of the Park, or the song remains the same.
And I think that's what draws interest, because if it was just Metallica and IMAX, people would be like, oh, that's cool, and you'd get your hardcore fans to go watch it, but it's the idea that they brought the director from Chronicle in to do this.
Great idea.
Which I'm just like, this is really interesting. Let's see where this goes.
So our next movie is Thor 2. And I didn't really like the original Thor movie. I thought it was slow and it was overdone, and it was just... I didn't like it.
There were good elements to it. And I love in the story between Thor and Loki, it's something in a superhero movie we really haven't touched on, where, the villain is a family member, and so he has this torn sense inside of him, Thor does, to where I have to stop him, but I can't kill him. Thor was probably one of the first movies besides Hellboy that really delved outside into the more fantastical aspects of comics, and I love that they were able to pull that off. I feel like they've got the aesthetic right now, because it's not as CGI'd out as the first one was. I feel like they've made it a little more gritty, a little more realism, in at least a sense of their backgrounds and of that nature. There's nothing realistic about a God of Thunder, but everything else in terms of what is in front of the camera, it looks to me to be an improvement.
I just hope that it is an improvement.
Right.
And that's the only thing that I can really say about it.
I think this movie looks like it might be the Loki show.
It probably will be the Loki show.
I think Loki has stood out in the Avengers movie, so obviously they brought him back for this, and it looks like it may even borderline concentrate on him more.
But I think people...
Because he's a selling point.
Right. I think people aren't, because the villain is only... The hero is only as good as the villain, we've discussed that before.
Right. Yeah.
And I think because, it's the same thing with Heath Ledger's Joker to Christian Bale's Batman. I'm not saying by any means Chris Hemsworth is on Christian Bale's acting level, but I think he's a great Thor. I think he is. I just think he's overshadowed a bit.